Here I have a PS4 controller, and what I'm going to be doing with it is I'm going to be quite literally cutting it open. Now it does work, as you guys can tell. It just doesn't have a working R1 or an R2. Now it does usually have a screw there, and there, but do you need to actually remove the screws? Well, first things first, I'm going to remove them personally just so I can show you guys what is actually on inside of them. And the screws they use is a Phillips Zero screw bits, which are these very small ones. You guys can probably barely see the cross. So yeah, basically I'm going to remove these, and then I'm going to show you guys the inside of what you guys should worry about, and what you guys will probably be fine. And now what we're going to do is we can now pop this shit open. If it is your first time opening it, you will definitely need something like a spudger or picks. Mine may not even want to open right now. I should be able to get open, but I actually can't, I don't think. But obviously we have the good old tool called the spudger, which works by basically just placing this in there and then just prying this open. So we'll do that. Actually, I don't think I really need it. All I really just need to do, just cut all the way through with my nail and just unlock those picks, especially on the front right here. Once you actually get inside, you guys will see that there's literally a battery right here. Now when this comes off, if it does want to come off, holy crap, you're going to be instantly met with a ribbon cable. This is going to be the most dangerous part if you actually want to make sure it's working. Now what I usually do is you would usually want to unplug it from the board because of this right here. This takes forever to get reassembled properly. And honestly, you now have the battery. This is definitely going to be the part that could either screw you over or it won't. But now we're going to get this back together, and never touch this board without disconnecting the battery. The battery just disconnects really easily like that, and most of the time you won't rip that off unless you want to rip it off really fast. And make sure you pull on the wires, not super hard so you don't unsolder them from the connector. And to plug it in, it's simple. Take these two little pins, then just put them in. Simple. And literally just fit it into its slot. So you got it plugged in, fit into its slot. It shouldn't move. Now for this case, we're going to go ahead and put this on. And we are going to connect this ribbon cable just to show that it is possible to slice through it. So again, this is, well, by again, I mean, I haven't really said this yet. This is only for experimental and informational and entertaining purposes only. Do not try this at home. So now that I have it back together, you don't need to plug in the ribbon cable, but you can. But again, in this case, I'm going to plug it in just so you know the fact it is possible to cut. So now I'm going to get in the 3 screws that I have. Again, there's usually 4. One here, one here, one here, one here. On the PS5 controller, you usually need to remove R1 and L1, which is pretty simple to do. You have to just plonk it out with like a flathead or like a spudger. So yeah. Alright, screws are now in, and now we're going to begin sawing this down with a pretty massive saw. It's a hand saw, which means I can control it at my own speed and just make sure I get through it. And I'm going to basically try not to damage anything. So, just so that the charging thing doesn't get damaged, I do actually have a replacement cable, but basically, I don't know exactly where the plug is, but somewhere over here, I think. And that ended up coming out, which it doesn't really matter too much. I'm not going to take apart the disassembly and then put this back together, as I'm not that type of technician, but this still does work until it runs out of battery, and then it will never work again. So that's okay though, because we're literally probably going to break it today either way. Now I don't know on how I'd actually be able to show you like that I'm cutting through this, but basically we're just going to move this back and forth and start cutting through it. As this is a pretty sharp blade. I was in it to cut cardboard before, and that's about it. But I mean, it can definitely get through. And where I'm going to be cutting is not going to be right here. It's going to be on that exact spot, but on the back. Now, usually you would want to mark this, but again, this is for experimental purposes only, mostly. So I'm not going to mark it. If you got a little hole in there, I guess I can kind of get a little bit more of this off. I'm going to use a actual ESD safe brush. if you look, it's really hard to actually get pinpointed on a single spot, but after you get it, it's really easy to stay in the spot. Now, the thing I'm going to need to do is I need to cut the screw post. So the way screws work is that they are threaded. For example, we can take this screw right here, alright? We'll put it on a white surface so it's easier to see. This screw, this screw right here is definitely, you know, it has a thread. If you look at it, well, I mean, you probably can't see this. It has little circles going around it. Now, this thread is made to go through plastic, which means if it tries to go through metal, it's much harder to go through it. Now, you can technically screw stuff in to, say, your cabinet or something like that, but no, that is definitely not a good idea unless you're using the right thread. Now, again, always mark something when you're doing a DIY project like that, but that's just an example. So if you guys are wondering what I'm trying not to aim for, there's a vibrator, well, not really a vibrator, I don't know what they're called, like something that will vibrate the thing, and, well, I guess it is technically a vibrator in here, and what they will do is they control your vibration on the controller, so it's much, like, better to use and makes you feel like you're more in the game. I made a pretty decently sized hole, as you can tell, and where I need to go is I need to get right there, so this screw will no longer be a part of it, and then after that I need to cut off some bit over here, and then this bit will just come off. That's the theory anyway. I mean, it definitely makes a mess. Like, it's literally gone by my toolkit. It's gotten onto my, like, screw memory thing, or whatever it's called, and it's actually, like, I'm not cutting where I was. I'm gonna put down this saw before I end up cutting myself trying to pick this thing up. And I'm picking it, and I'm cutting it right here, because then it cuts through the entire thing. Now, yes, it'll definitely take longer, but then if I cut right here, it'll actually won't take as long. That's the theory anyway. Honestly, at this point, I'm just bored of just cutting and then just blowing everything off my workstation. So instead, I'm just going to cut it right down the middle. Yes, I'm going to cut through the tab. I'm basically going to cut right about here. Obviously, I'm going to avoid the battery. In fact, I'm going to disconnect the battery. And the point is, will I be able to get inside without destroying the thing? Let's find out. Alright, so now we got like a little hole that is like not very big. Obviously, we're going to try to drill it all the way through the main housing, and then we'll see what happens next. And that's what I'm going to talk to you next, is if that even does happen. Otherwise, I'm probably just going to call off the video, because I do not need this to take 4 years, and this isn't the strongest plastic in the world, but it does still definitely take a little bit to get through. You guys may not be able to see really well. Hold on, I'll clear it up. We've actually made it into the main thing on the inside. Now, again, there's a motherboard, so don't recommend doing this. As if I just do a little cut through that, I could cut a trace and then end up destroying the entire thing. If I just cut one trace, it won't lead to the battery's connector, which means that nothing will basically work. And just to prove I've not faked any of this, you guys can quite literally just see that, like, I have dust, well, this blue stuff as well all over the, and I guess black from the tab and, well, whatever you guys want to call this, and a little bit from the PlayStation button. You guys can quite literally see the inside of the PlayStation button a little bit. So the next plan is now to build this into the main housing fully. I've hit a pretty bad part. I'm literally right here, which means that this is right above the motherboard. Now, the reason why that's a bad thing is because this means that this bottom case is going to make it where it's harder to actually not really smash, but like kind of just get past and cut through it. And that means that I need to be even more careful, because that means the motherboard is not too far away. Alright, now that I've done this, instead of now just trying to cut through it, what if I just pop the tab off? Using the spudger, I ended up getting this stuck through it, which means this is a very thin piece of plastic, and this is where I should start. There we go. And now that I've done that, now I can probably tilt that back and pop that off. Oh my word, that took so much more time and effort than I thought. And now we actually are getting buttons popped out, so I don't actually know if this is willing to come out, but like I've definitely got a little bit out. So there we go, we definitely got this out pretty successfully. We got a circuit board in there for this thing, but boom, there is the inside right there. And now, because I used the metal pry tool so I could get that out, which obviously you're not going to have, but again, I don't want you guys to do this at home. To be fair though, there isn't a screw there, so I'm not going to really fully classify that. This definitely could have just came off, but that would explain why this bit didn't and why this bit didn't. But obviously the next goal is we are going to try to get down into there. Because the point is, can you remove a controller? We never said it needed to be working, but can you tear one apart and have fun? First, I'm going to pop out L1, which is kind of simple, as all I really now just need to do is just do that, which by the way, this can actually go back into the controller and will work. And I'm saying that that's the first step because now I can get something into there and then start prying this out, because I need to cut out that screw basically. Using something called hand strength, I basically just rip this entire piece off, and I can't do it on this side because there's a screw there, but like, yeah, I actually got it off. But of course the screw post is messing up, which means that actually does need to be cut if I actually want this to, well, work in the way I need it to. I'm gonna be honest, I've tried countless attempts on trying to get this together, well, not together, trying to take this bit apart. I've took out this stick right here, and it's not really working, so instead what I'm gonna try to do is we're gonna take it apart. And by the way, don't worry, this controller wasn't really technically working, as again it didn't have a working R2 nor R1, which means it didn't functionally work. So we're gonna take it apart the proper way though. It just instantly looks weird. We'll unplug the battery. What the heck? There we go. We'll unplug the battery. Got another screw there, which should be pretty quick and easy to get out. As there we go. As you guys can see, quick, easy. We'll add it to the screw tray. We're going to pick this out. We're going to take the board out, and that means that too. We're just left with the rest of the housing. All this will technically be going and thrown away, as I don't think none of these parts work. The motherboard doesn't even work. I've kind of tested it in a way. So yeah. You guys are wondering though, these do just literally come off, and like, I mean, I don't think I'll be able to get them off in this case, but yeah. But there's a lot on this that definitely will not be working anymore. I feel like if I just really brush on this, it'll get some dust off, especially on this side where like the Bluetooth chip is and everything. So yeah, I do appreciate you guys for watching. Honestly, this was a very, very, very fun experience to kind of just be able to do and whatnot. Now, actually I haven't really taken this bit off yet. Haven't actually gone whatever this green stuff is off yet. I don't know what it's called, but I mean, I'm doing it right now. So since it is no longer working, I can technically unsolder the wires, but might as well give it some functionality with the vibrating motors, is what I'm guessing they really are. I can actually teach you guys some stuff here. Give me 1 second. So I've actually never taken this out, so I actually do not really know a whole lot about this. But I mean, you guys can definitely tell what go where. Like, this is arrows. That's the PlayStation button. We got the way that they actually connect. I don't actually know where the option. Oh wait, the options button are connected directly to the board. The options button is right there, and basically just connects. I don't know where exactly connects. I think it connects right there. No, right here. If you look, it makes a sound. So here's the PlayStation button. Here's part of the contact for it, not contact, the pushy thing. It's basically the thing that makes it go up and down. When you press it, we got the battery, and obviously we're just gonna stab it. No, never do that. I'm kidding. Don't ever do that. That can leak battery acid, and it can do a lot of bad stuff, especially if it gets on your skin. just in case. I'm gonna rub anything that's on my camera, just so I don't look for damage on my phone if I ever need to take it apart. There we go. So that's a pretty cool, nice thing that I was able to do. Honestly, it's very cool to kind of see on what you can actually do and what you can't do when it comes to teardowns like this. So this is where this goes. Is this usually would actually go right here, and a one of these motors would go right on top of it. But thank you guys so much for watching. Honestly, again, it's really cool to kind of see. If you guys are wondering where the other half of the pushing is for the PlayStation button, it's right here. Well, it actually wasn't right here a second ago. It was actually over here. So, but yeah, very cool. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye, guys.